Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kim Stanley, and you're watching Cox Connections only on Cox 9 Roanoke. A youth leadership program is empowering area young people to be proactive in keeping their schools and communities alcohol and drug-free. Nancy Hines, Director of the Prevention Council of Roanoke County, and Kendall Jarvis, a student at Glenver High School, join us now to tell us more about the program. Thank you both for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Nancy, good to see you as always.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about what's going on, and I'm hearing a lot about YADAPP. Tell us about that.
Well, YADAPP actually stands for Youth Alcohol Drug Abuse Prevention Project. That's a long word.
I'm glad we call it YADAPP.
But we call it YADAPP, and actually it is from the state of Virginia. It started about 27 years ago. And ABC actually owns that particular statewide conference. And that statewide conference has teams of high schoolers come once a year to Longwood University in the summer on a week-long leadership conference where they actually learn leadership skills and they tackle an issue in their community, and they come up with what they call a stand plan, strategies to act now. In 2006, our teenagers went from area high schools in Roanoke, and they said, we need to get to our younger peers. So we started in 2007 to offer a one-day conference for middle schoolers.
Okay.
We have the high schoolers plan it, and then they implement it with their own particular PowerPoints and things that they think that their peers in middle school need to find out before they get to high school.
Oh, wow. So, and that's what the Southwest Regional Conference was all about. And then you also, is it this year, you wrapped in tech safety?
We actually, I think this is the third year.
Wow. And
thank you very much to Cox, because you're one of our sponsors of that. So that is something that's very, very important, because technology, even though it's good, it is a very risky issue among teenagers.
Right. So tell us real quick a couple of the goals out of this conference.
First of all, this is a conference because we know by research that peer-to-peer relations and peer-to-peer teaching and learning does work. And the other piece to this is to offer those leadership skills, especially to high schoolers as they're getting ready to go to college and out into the world, to plan something like this and then give it to their younger peers. And for the younger peers to actually learn how to avoid risky behavior as they go into high school.
Okay, so this is great. This is the students actually coaching students. I mean, so just tremendous role models and things like that. That's great. So, and how long does the conference last?
It's an all-day conference. And then 3 years ago, we also partnered with Roanoke County Schools and their Student Advisory Council, and now it goes into the evening, and we have what's called Band Fest. So it's really an all-day, all-evening event.
That's great. And about how many students attend?
We get anywhere from 100 to 150, and then as the day and evening goes on, we can get up to hundreds that, of course, come to Band Fest.
That's great. So, Kendall, how did you get involved?
I originally started with our school coalition at Glenver, and then I got in touch with Nancy, and Nancy asked me to come to the summer YADAPPs, and I've been 3 years now, and because I went to the summer ones and I know how they work, my coalition leader at Glenver and Nancy also asked me to start teaching at the regional YADAPP that we put on here. So I started 3 years ago doing that.
Wow, so you play the role of educator.
Yes, I'm actually the student at Summer YADAPP, and I'm the educator at Regional YADAPP.
Okay, so how do you educate? I mean, that's got to be tremendous pressure on you.
I think it's more just trying to, we actually in our school YADAPP, coalition, we go into the elementary schools to talk to them, and we even take some of that, we ask them questions to get data from them, and like how many of them have phones and use Facebook, and it's a lot of them actually, and we use that data to go on and talk to even the middle schoolers about how risky it is and how they need to talk to other kids about that. So yeah.
That's great. So it's not just middle school, you're actually going into the elementary schools, and that's powerful. I think the younger you can get to them, the more effective, if we start that message early. So that's just kudos to you. Well, tech safety, internet safety is so important to Cox. So why did you include this in the conference?
Well, as Kendall said, we also have a lot of data. We are able to, every 2 years, with a partnership with Virginia Tech, we survey every middle and high schooler So that's about 8,500 students. And within that risk behavior survey, we have many questions about technology and whether or not they have a presence on any kind of websites or Facebook. And we started to see in 2006 to 2008 that the bullying and the cyberbullying, the bullying moved from in the hallway over to the internet.
Right.
So we have every single year, every other year, we have added new questions. We start to add texting and driving, and we started to add questions about whether or not they were sending or receiving inappropriate pictures over texting, so that we gather that data so that we know that, okay, these are risk factors. So we are going to have to address those with these kinds of programs, and most importantly with adults. And that's an area where the council continues to sometimes find challenges, so that parents of elementary schools, we go in and present when principals ask us to, because we're very concerned that there are a lot of elementary school students that have Facebook, when there is a Facebook rule that you should be at minimum 14 years old.
Okay.
So we're very concerned about that and making sure there's safety there.
Okay. So are you able to track the conference success or just the overall program success, and quickly share with the viewers, if you are, what you've seen, due to all these great efforts?
Well, and I'd like, Kendall probably would like to give feedback from her perspective, but we actually did have somebody, a student, that came in and had a project where she wanted to know what did this do for those high schoolers that have been part of this. And we've had several high schoolers go on to college and then come back. This year we had a student that had graduated from Northside High School. She came back and actually did one of the presentations, and she goes to VCU, and she wanted to come back and be involved in that. She did it during her spring break.
Wow, so just the experience and the feedback that you're getting. That's great. That is just, well, I know the conference has passed, but how can more people get involved? What do we need to do?
Well, with the council, they can go to our website, which is www.preventioncouncil4youth.org. And I think, Kendall, you can talk to them about how to get involved in their schools.
Most of the schools have their own coalitions, or YOVISOs, which is Youth of Virginia Speak Out, which is about destructive decisions. There's also, a lot of schools have their own YADAPP. For Glenver, our coalition covers pretty much all of that.
Okay.
So typically, if you talk to your student resource officers, they're the ones to typically talk to.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you. You're doing a great job. Very proud of you. And thank you, Nancy. Good to see you as always. Okay. Before you go, I want to personally thank you for choosing Cox Communications for your entertainment, information, and communication needs. We know you could have chosen another provider, but because you chose us, we promise to provide you with quality products backed up by a talented local team of professionals. I'm Kim Stanley, and I'll see you next time on Cox Connections.